And welcome back to the First and Goal podcast. My name is Lewis. Next to me, as always, my beautiful co-host Laraib, as we are here to get into Week 7 of the NFL season. Laraib, that is correct. We are approaching 7 weeks of NFL football so far this season. Only two teams on by this week. We have the Ravens and the Bills. Um, so every other team will be playing this week. Two Monday night football games, Thursday night game, international game, Sunday night, obviously. So a lot of really good football to look into. Big thing for you this week, Laurent. You've lost the last 7 weeks in a row, or at least that's what it feels like. So really need to get back on the winning horse. I definitely made a bold play for the Thursday night football game that is going to happen tonight. We were filming this Thursday morning, so if you wanted to see what our picks were for that game, go check it out because that was very interesting in our last episode. But Laura, going into a new week, a lot of things that you need to improve on, or at least get not improve on, but get a leg up on me, right? So, what is changing in your mindset as we've seen 6 weeks of NFL football?
Nothing is changing right now. I'm
Well,
gonna stick with my guns.
well,
Pick who I want to pick. Go with the team who I think is gonna win. Obviously, I'm down by 3 weeks, but in the grand scheme of things, we still have 12 weeks to go, so really not that big of a difference right now. And if I start to psych myself up too much and start picking some of these really shitty teams, that's just gonna, start digging me a deeper hole. So I'm gonna stick with my guns. Pick my guys who I like, and continue to battle each week.
oh, let's start the battle where all battles start, and that is in London, England town, where we have the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Rams. Rams 2.5 point favorites on a neutral field. Big storyline from this game, Laura. Puka Nakua out, the engine of this Rams offense. And we'll see what they look like without him. Obviously, last week against Baltimore, he exits pretty early in that game, and they only manage a meager 17 points against the downtrodden Ravens defense. So, how can the Rams offense still be productive without Puka Nakua?
Well, going into this game, now you definitely know Devontae Adams is going to be your one, and that means you have to have guys like Tutu Atwell step up. And I think it's going to be a little easy against this Jaguars defense, Lewis, who gives up the third most passing yards this week or this year. We saw them trade for Greg Newsome the second from the Browns, someone who I really like as a man-to-man guy, but he was burnt toast last week against JSN. And if he's going to be on Devontae Adams this week, it might be trouble for them once again. I think the bigger injury from this game is Devin Lloyd. He is not going to be playing for the linebacker position for the Jaguars, and that really he's like the engine of that defense. And if he's not out there, I think Kyron Williams is going to have a day as well. The Jaguars do go to London often. They have a lot of experience playing there, but I just think their secondary is too weak, and the Rams can expose them at that level.
What I'm worried about is this, like what Puka really does for this offense. It's not like, all right, well, you'll be fine. You just insert Devontae here, insert Tutu here, you insert this guy. But it's like what he's able to do to put stress on a defense and change how defenses have to play the field is huge, right? Because just the gravity that he takes, like two or three defenders, you know, on any route in the route tree. And without him there, Devontae at this point pretty limited in the route tree. Still a threat, right? But is he going to consistently burn a defense? I don't think so. So then it really comes down to, can you run the ball effectively with Kyron Williams? Yes, of course, you always can. But it's really just like, can Sean McVay stick to it, right? Because he's going to get his volume. But really, it's what can this Rams offensive line hold up like in a game where Stafford might have to think twice about throwing a ball, where he might be a little hesitant, right? So are they going to be able to hold up against a pretty solid Jaguars defensive front, right? Um, Even though last week against Seattle, they didn't really get to Darnold too much. He did have some pressure in a lower scoring affair. The big question for me is on the other side of the ball, and that's Trevor Lawrence against this Rams defensive front. Whose house? We'll see. Um, the Rams defensive front getting a lot of pressures here, but not a lot of sack production. I guess they're just not being able to find home. They really can't bring the quarterback down, but the pressures are still valuable. Um, obviously Jared Verse, Kobe Brown, um, Brandon Fisk, excuse me, have been doing a really good job of getting pressure on the quarterback. But are they going to be able to get a guy who like Trevor Lawrence, who we saw last Monday night using his legs, or 2 Monday nights ago, to really put a stress on the defense? Let's see if he's going to be awake and up for that one at 8:30 in the morning. I know we will as we're watching this game. What was that? Anyway, um, but I'm going to go with the team that I just trust more in this spot. Even though Jacksonville has more experience, I think the Rams are a more legitimate team with better players on both sides of the ball. I think Puka being out really does hurt this team, and the fact the line only really moved like 1 full point with his injury does scare me because if that was me, I would make it probably go down a lot more than that. So I'm going to pick the Rams to squeak this one out. Don't feel great about it, but I'm going to go Rams 21, Jaguars 20.
Yeah, we're finally getting a good game to watch in the overseas slate, so it might be one that I might tune into if I'm awake at that time. But yeah, I have to go with the known commodity, Matthew Stafford. Like I mentioned, Jags third worst pass defense. Even if you don't think Devontae Adams still has it, I think he has a little juice left in the tank to expose this weak Jaguar secondary. I think the Rams win 26 to 23.
All right, well, let's move on now to our noon game. We have the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Vikings coming off a bye. The line is set at Philly by 1.5 points on the road. As it stands now, Laraib, JJ McCarthy is still a limited participant in practice. Carson Wentz is getting all the first team reps this whole bye week, this whole week. My thinking is Carson Wentz will be the starter for this game. So, with that knowledge going in, Philly only a 1.5 point favorite. Yeah, they looked terrible the past 2 weeks, or really the past 6 quarters. They've looked pretty awful. What can they do to bounce back against this Minnesota team?
Is getting some of their guys back on the defensive side of the ball. This defense is just completely different when Jalen Carter is out there. And it looks like he's going to be gearing up to play in this one. And, maybe we can look at this thing at a macro level, how big of a issue that is for the Eagles as a season continues if Jalen Carter is always coming in and out. But if he's playing in this game, I have to roll with the Eagles. Their inability to get pressure when he's not on the field is very apparent. Jackson Dart got whatever he wanted against them last Thursday night. And then on the back end, when you have guys like Quinyon Mitchell out and Zadarius Smith, who just decided to retire, he was leading their team in sacks. It's really apparent that this team can be thrown on, can be run on, anything against this defense. And so with Jalen Carter back in the lineup, I expect that to change. But then on the other side, Van Ginkel and Blake Cashman, our guy, they're also expected to play in this game. So I think this is going to come down to a defensive battle between these two teams. And I got to roll with the Eagles defense in this one.
It's really going to come down to which Philadelphia quarterback, former MVP candidate do you trust more? And I, I don't want to go that far, but Jalen Hurts has not been playing good football this season. He had a pretty good half of football against the Rams a few weeks ago, but really outside of that, he has not been playing up to the MVP level expectation that we placed on him. And how can this offense get out of this rut? Because yes, getting Jalen Carter back to this defense will provide that extra pass rush juice, but that is not what this team is missing right now. They are missing offensive identity. They're missing just what they used to do so well, right? That creativity offensively, just that feeling of unstoppableness that they had last season. So how can they get that back, right? It all starts with running the damn ball. It all starts with Saquon. It starts with getting creative in this rushing game, finding ways to attack this Vikings defense with a really good, ferocious pass rush. The best way to attack that is by running the damn ball. And that's just something that they've been averse to these past few weeks because these Philadelphia fans are over here on WASP radio in Philadelphia. Eh, Kevin Patullo! You gotta throw the ball to AJ Brown. And then he spends just time, spamming AJ Brown, and then it's back to Petulia's got to run the ball against the Giants, and then he can't get the run game going whatsoever. So whatever Philadelphia radio is going to be on this week, you got to think that's what Petula is going to lean into. And against this Brian Flores led defense, they're just not going to let Jalen Hurts have time in the pocket to make reads or get out of the pocket. So it's going to be quick decisions by Jalen Hurts, finding guys when they're open, running the ball. It's got to be quick thinking things because that's where Jalen Hurts is the most confident. That's where he's the most effective. So can Patullo get them in these situations to succeed? I'm going to say yes. I think the Eagles, they need this game. There's no way the Eagles lose 3 games in a row, right?
I mean, I don't want to completely rule out JJ McCarthy. He is projected points on ESPN Fantasy.
Oh,
And so if he plays, I'm definitely
I'm
liking the
definitely picking the
Eagles.
Eagles. Yeah.
But if CW can't win, is also playing in there. I mean, he's gonna be trying his hardest. But sometimes his best isn't exactly beating the world. I think the Eagles win this one. It's going to be interesting to see how you mentioned this Eagles offense, how they're going to continue to adjust with first year offensive coordinator Anthony Patullo. But I think the Eagles find a way to squeak this one out 26-23.
And I have the Eagles winning this one, lower scoring. I'm going to go 18-14. They pull it out of their Philadelphia behinds. Let's go ahead to our next game lob, 3 o'clock window. Two juggernauts in the AFC. The Indianapolis Colts, led by Daniel Jones, traveling to Los Angeles to face the Chargers. Chargers, a 1.5 point favorite here at home. And the Colts offense has just been dynamic all season long, Laraib, being able to really run the ball. Daniel Jones just adding that element of security to the offense, not really doing anything too crazy, but finding guys wherever they're needed, really hitting guys in stride, just running the offense like a capable grown up. Unlike some guys in the past who were just incapable. So against this Chargers defense, Laura, what do the Colts need to establish, or what are some things they need to do to get an edge in this game over the Chargers?
It's going to be running the ball. Like you mentioned, Daniel Jones has been, he's been serviceable this year, but the real engine for that offense has been Jonathan Taylor. And against this Chargers defense, who, they have two below two at the linebacking position, but besides that, they don't have huge world beaters back there. I think this is a clear game where they can establish the run, set up the play action on those deep bombs. Because, Benjamin St-Juste is out there at cornerback for the Chargers starting. And he had an interception last week against Tua, but I don't think Daniel Jones has been throwing too many of those ducks this year to be intercepted. And so I think this Chargers defense can be had. I'm really expecting this game to turn into a shootout with how bad this Colts defense has been the past couple of weeks. I know they're winning games mostly through offense, and so I think their defense is going to be a little bit exposed in this one. And same thing for the Chargers. Um, they've been living off of playing bad teams and bad offenses to get a lot of their metrics, in my opinion. And this week, when you have Jonathan Taylor coming into town, you have Michael Pittman coming into town, you have Tyler Warren coming into town. I think this game turns into a shootout, and whichever offense can limit their turnovers can win in this one.
Yeah, and what it comes down for me is this Chargers offense against this Colts defense, because this Colts defense, much maligned in the back half, their secondary really has not been playing well so far this season. Front seven's been playing pretty well and bottling up the run and getting to the passer though. So really for me, it's how much time is Justin Herbert going to have in this game? If he has just enough time to find his guys in stride, this offense will be humming. They're going to be clicking. It's going to be a fun game. But if he can't get that time, then they're not going to be able to take advantage of this weak Colts secondary because they're not going to be able to run the ball that effectively. And we even saw against inferior opponents, like you mentioned, like the Giants and the Dolphins, right? They're just really not able to pull these possessions consistently in and out, especially, losing Amari and Hampton and that big running game that we wanted to lean on. So I'm going to go with the Colts in this game, Laura. I just think that they are playing the better football. The Chargers team without Joe Alt, without Rashawn Slater, has been a completely different identity of a team. And against this Colts defense, who definitely wants to get some get back as well, um, I think they didn't really take the Cardinals too seriously last week. They definitely got their asses chewed out all week long for that, and now they have full focus on this Chargers team. And you know what? I'll just say it, Laraib. There's gonna be more Colts fans in the stadium because that really, I don't think there's a team in the league, maybe Rams fans, that would have more fans than Chargers fans. But I do have the Colts winning this game to move to an impressive 6-1 and notching their most impressive victory on the season. Give me the Colts in this one, 31 to Chargers 28.
I'm also going 31 to 28, but I'm going to go ahead and pick the home team. I trust in Justin Herbert. I think Quentin Johnston, he most likely will be missing this game again. But Keenan Allen, both of his hamstrings are still working right now. So I really like what he adds to the offense. Lad McConkey finally had his breakout game in his second season. And Kamani Vidal came in there, made some huge blocks on that game-winning drive. And they showed, okay, maybe we don't have Amari Hampton. We have two guys who can throw in there and who can be serviceable at the running back position. I think it comes down to whichever quarterback plays the best and limits the turnovers. I just trust the proven track record of Justin Herbert, and I think they find a way to win at home and move on to 5-2.
All right, Larav, let's go ahead and move on to Sunday night football. The Atlanta Falcons traveling to Santa Clara to face the 49ers. This is just the ultimate matchup. 3 weeks ago, it was CMC versus Kyron Williams. Last week, it was CMC versus Emeka Ibuka. This week, it's CMC versus Drake London. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, it's my fantasy team, best in the league. Um, but yeah, so this week we have the Atlanta Falcons traveling to Santa Clara, 2.5 point favorites, Larab. I haven't been super in touch, so I'll let you take the floor on this one early. Who is playing for the 49ers?
Certainly Fred Warner isn't.
Okay.
Uh,
Nick Bosa
um,
is not. Yeah, we've
And then
established
certainly Nick
that.
Bosa is not playing. Dre Greenlaw is not on the team any longer. But besides that, I really don't have a good button on it. I think it's a little too early in the week. Ricky Pearsall did not practice. Brock Purdy, I'm not sure if he practiced or not. Um, Kendrick Bourne, I think he'll be ready to go out there. Jawan Jennings, I think he'll be ready to go out there. But at some point, I just think the injuries just start to pile up and pile up, and it's going to get to a point. Now the Falcons are 0-3 on the road this year, but I think this is a huge spot in prime time. Excuse me, the Falcons are 1-1 on the road this year. But
Mhm.
I think in a huge spot like this against the 49ers, who really only have Christian McCaffrey, and the Falcons defense really showed me something. They had a lot of juice last week against that, good offensive line of the Bills. If they can get some of that similar pressure on whoever it is in at quarterback for the 49ers, I think the Falcons are in a good spot to win this game.
Yeah, dang, I really thought George Kittle was supposed to be a little further ahead than he is. Unfortunately, he is not. Yeah, it seems like the guys who have been pretty much in and out of the lineup are still decisions, Brock Purdy, Jawan Johnson, Ricky Pearsall. So we'll see what happens. I still think this Niners team, a little bit of revenge factor here, right? You have Kyle Shanahan facing his former team. I know it was a while ago, but still something to think about. Um,
I would
they're
say it's
still.
more revenge for the Falcons than it is for Kyle Shanahan.
What do you mean?
Who was the one who blew the lead? Who was the offensive coordinator who decided not to run the
Oh,
ball?
oh yes, I'm sure Arnold Ebiketie, defensive end from Florida, was pissed back in 2016 when his Falcons didn't win. Oh yeah,
Arthur
James
Blank is
Spears
going to come into that
Jr.
locker room and tell those
Okay.
guys, hey, this MFer was on our team and we could have had a Super Bowl, and we don't.
And then Arthur Blank is gonna say, and then 2,000 years ago, this win was promised. Never mind. Anywho, yeah, this video's getting
Hey,
taken down
hey,
for
we're getting
sure.
no views, bro.
Um, Anywho, I really think that even with the limited talent, we've seen that Shanahan's able to scheme up competent offense. And I really feel like a lot of that is just what Christian McCaffrey is able to do, just being versatile all across the field, running the ball, receiving, just being that constant threat. Not like a super big he's not gonna be able to burn you for 60-yard touchdowns anymore. But just being that consistent offense, that chain mover, a guy who can get you tough yards in really key situations. Um, and Mac Jones has found good rhythm with guys like Kendrick Bourne on the outside, and they just find ways to scheme guys open, get guys in space, and make things work. And the Falcons, for me, they just beat the Bills on a short week. Now they're traveling to Santa Clara, a team that already has a very high variance in outcomes of this year, right? This is the same team. I'm going to mention this until their Falcons are playing in the Super Bowl in Santa Clara in February. This is the same team that lost 30 to nothing to the Carolina Panthers. And sure, the Panthers are 3-3 now. That doesn't make that outcome any better. And that was on the road. So this being on the road, I think Robert Saleh is a very good defensive coach. You just had Baker Mayfield and that offense just cook against it last week. Now, at what point are the injuries past the point of no return? That I think that'll really be the test this week against this Falcons offense without Nick Bosa and without Fred Warner. But I just cannot trust this Falcons team to win back-to-back games against really good teams, including Kyle Shanahan and this offense. They're going to find guys, find ways to get open. I like the 49ers here. Give me the Niners in this one. 24 to Falcons 21.
And I think the Falcons with Bijan Robinson and Drake London and Kyle Pitts have started to figure some things out on that side of the ball. And they are going to lay the boom down in Santa Clara against this downtrodden 49ers team who got some, good wins early in the season by some fluky margins. Christian McCaffrey, you like holding up the timepiece every 5 minutes. Oh, the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking on that motherfucker. I'll tell you right now. Give me the Falcons 26-20.
Smiling through it all. All right. Well, next on up, Laraib, we have the biggest game of the week, I should say, even though the line is pretty insane. We have the Detroit Lions hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Lions are 5.5 point favorites at home. This Lions team, Laura, we could just be honest, right? Have not beaten a good team all season long. Now getting 5.5 points at home against this Buccaneers team, who similarly to the 49ers, just banged up out of their minds, losing guys week after week. There is a chance Mike Evans returns from his hamstring injury this week, but it's like, one step forward, two steps back, because now Igbuka and Godwin are not going to be playing in this game, right? So it's going to be just the rotating door of Tez Johnsons and Kyle Alexanders and there's these guys you never heard of. But Baker's been able to make do so far, Laraab. So what do you think is the key for the Bucks to just find something in this game?
It's going to be on the back of Rashad White, who has come in. He has been, let's just say he's been fantastic coming in and replacing Bucky Irving. His inefficiencies at running the ball were a big reason why he got subbed out last year for Bucky Irving. But this year, it looks like he has a little bit more juice. We know his receiving ability is, top tier in the league, and so I think he's going to be a key point for this Bucks offense. Because if you can start establishing the run against the Lions, their secondary is where they can really be had. And so if you can set up that play action pass, I'm not sure if Terrion Arnold is playing in this game, but Brian Branch, he's suspended for this one. And so I think this Lions defense can be had through the secondary. But the issue is, like you said, you're throwing a Tez Johnson and Sterling Shepard and Cade Otton. If the Bucks find a way to win this game with the cast of receivers they have, Baker Mayfield, he vaunts himself into some a different level. But I just think the Lions, front running Lions, getting a lot of points at home in prime time. I think they find a way to dominate this one.
This win for the Buccaneers perspective is purely gravy. It's lanyap, as we in Louisiana call it. It would just be, hey, great job. We're expecting you to lose. This isn't a game you need. You're super banged up. You've already been proven. You're a proven commodity, right? For the Lions, this is a must-win game. Because as of now, this team has been absolutely fraudulent against the upper echelon teams. And the sneaky thing about this that no one really wants to bring up because it's boring is this Todd Bowles-led defense continues to stifle offenses, and if they've done some of the best work against this Lions team, and obviously Ben Johnson not there, but against Dan Campbell led offenses, he's done the best work, right? Just limiting points, bend, don't break. They'll get all their yards, they'll get all their fun flash plays, but come the red zone, they're not being able to consistently punch it in. And as much as I'd love to just go full on Tampa here, I think Tampa just been in way too many high stakes, high pressure games, just back to back to back. That if this Lions team smells blood and they go up 14-3 in this game, you know Dan Campbell and Amon-Ra St. Brown are gonna put that bitch in sport and they're slamming their foot on the gas as they go up 30, 40 points. I don't think that's going to be indicative of the actual game. But I do think the Lions are going to win this game 41-17.
And I'm gonna go with the Lions, 31-20, a little bit more respectable. But three Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdowns
Three.
really puts the game away.
Just to make sure, probably one left and like 3 minutes left in the fourth, just to really rub it in. Anywho, that's going to do it for all of our highlighted games this week, Laraib. Let's go ahead and start from the top. We have on the news slate the New Orleans Saints traveling to Chicago to face the Chicago Bears. Bears minus 4.5 points in this game. What kills me, Laraib, is the big plays the Saints have been letting up so far this season. Defense has been mediocre, but really what's killing them is just these massive plays, just these back-breaking bombs that have been destroying them all season long. And I think that's what Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams have been doing pretty well this season. They just haven't had to face a stupid defense that falls for it a lot. And unfortunately, I think Rattler on the road, tough spot against a Bears team with some rejuvenated confidence. Give me the Bears in this spot.
Yeah, I have to go with the Bears as well. The Saints, you have to give them credit. They've been hanging around in most of their games. I think they are the best bad team, but the Bears are still middle of the pack. I think at home, DeAndre Swift, I mean, of course he's going to have a good game against the Commanders. He, finally follows some of his blocks and has a decent game. So my Kyle Monangai stock has dropped a little bit, but that just means I'm investing more at a lower price. But in this game, yeah, I think, like you mentioned, the Saints defense is susceptible to the deep ball. Good thing this Bears offense has Rome Odunze and Luther Burden to exploit those deficiencies. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bears 27-21.
All right. All right, well, let's go ahead next, Rob. We have the Miami Dolphins traveling to Cleveland to face the Browns. It's this game I don't want to analyze. I don't want to speculate. All I'm going to do is I like Tua better than Dylan Gabriel, even though I think Tua has some interesting comments to say about his teammates. He's at this point, he's retarded. I'm just gonna keep it a buck, right? Tua is past the point of mental sanity. He needs our help and prayers. Um, but he's still better at football than Dylan Gabriel. So I'm gonna pick the Dolphins in this one, 13-10.
Yeah, the Browns coming back from London, still have Dylan Gabriel as their starting quarterback. You got to roll with the Dolphins in this one. As bad as they've been playing, they still have not, completely given up. They've been playing competitive football. And so I got to roll with the Miami Dolphins. I think they win this one 31-20.
All right, let's go ahead. Next, Laura, we have Patriots traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Mike Vrabel revenge game here, returning to Tennessee to face his former team of multiple years. You know he's going to want to stick it to him. Is that what happens?
Yeah, I think they win 36-17.
Yeah, this Titans team not proven that win last or 2 weeks ago was Fugazi. I haven't really proven anything to me. Give me the Patriots in this game. I'm going to go 26-13. Next game up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs. Chief favored by 12.5 points here. Rashee Rice making his return this week to this Chiefs offense. Laura, I think this is going to be a high scoring game. I think this Raiders team will be able to score points in this matchup. I do think the Chiefs win, but maybe there's a little bit of force feeding Rasheed in this game as a, oh, free four, he ain't do nothing. Brother, we've seen the videos. Oh, he is very culpable and he probably should be in prison right now. But besides that, he's going to put up a monster game. However, will it be within the flow of the offense? Are they going to get in their own way a few times? I'm not sure. I still have the Chiefs winning this game, but I really like the spot for the Raiders to potentially cover. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one, 30-20.
Yeah, I think Rashi Rice is going to bring some of that speed off of the highway onto the field where it's supposed to be. And this, talk about this Raiders team, how disappointing their season has been. Geno Smith has just been completely awful. Maybe this is the one game where they kind of get up for it, playing Kansas City, but there's no way in hell they win this game. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Chiefs 31-20.
All right. Next game up, Laraib, we have the Carolina Panthers traveling to New York to face the Jets on the road. Jets have not won a game all season. Panthers have not won a road game all season. Laraib, which streak snaps first?
I think the Panthers will win a road game before the Jets. This Jets team they are right there with the Titans as the worst team in the league. Both those teams should be 0-6. Unfortunately, only the Jets are at that position, but we're seeing Brees Hall rumors circling. We're seeing free Garrett Wilson trending on X, and now you're telling me this team is going to come back from London back to New York and then beat this Carolina Panthers team who have some semblance of an offense. Meanwhile, you have negative net 10 yards passing for this Jets team in London. There's no way in hell. I mean, the one thing I can trust in this game is Rico freaking Dowdle against a sorry ass Jets rush defense, who have given up an average of 130 yards a game this year. I think the Panthers find a way to sneak this one out and leave the Jets winless. I think the Panthers win 26-23.
If not now, then
That was
when?
my thinking originally, but no, no, no. No way
I
in hell.
See, that's my thinking right now. I'll be honest with you. It's if not now, then when for this Jets team. If you were to tell me, hey, you're going to be 0-6, but at least the Carolina Panthers are going to be traveling to your building, this is the one. This is the win. There's no other game on the schedule all season long. Maybe home against the Dolphins, maybe, but there's no other game on your schedule that you are going to be favored in all season long. You're not even favored in this one. Carolina took that from you with the 1.5 point hook. So I'm not picking the damn Jets, though. I'm sorry. I can't.
Oh man.
I'm not going to throw this week away, even though would it shock me at all? No. I think this Panthers team just does not know how to play on the road. However, it was really the point that you just brought up that kind of swung me that this Jets team has been awful against the run, and we really need, if there's any constant for the Panthers offense, just run Rico Dowdle until those wheels fall off. You have Chuba coming back soon. Who cares? Run Rico Dowdle. And I think they will. He's running with confidence, and I have the Panthers winning this game 24-13.
All right, let's move on to another game. We have the New York Giants going to Denver to play the Broncos in our 3 o'clock slate.
Ooh.
Broncos favored by a whole 7.5 points. And of course, Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo have been the two rookies have turned into a revelation for this Giants team this year. The one thing they haven't done is travel, and now they have to go 2 mile high. That atmosphere, that altitude is going to get to them in the big spot against the Broncos who, got by the skin of their teeth, barely beat the Jets last week. Sean Payton is going to be all over them about that. But I just think this is going to be a huge test for Jackson Dart. There's going to be pressure in his face all game long. Is he still going to be able to step up in the pocket, make throws? Is he still going to be able to, get out and scramble against Nick Bonito and this ferocious Broncos defense? I don't think so. I'm going to pick the Broncos in this one, 28-17.
I think you just said it best, Laraib. This is a true test for this Giants young duo. And obviously, there's other young players, but we don't care about them. It's the young duo of Dart and Scatterboo. How can they fare on the road? They have just this confidence about them that's just so magnetizing, right? That the whole team just wants to follow, they want to support. Um, Now, how is that going to do on the road in a tough spot? You're down, you're trailing. Are they going to still have that same bang our heads through the walls, like F it, we go mentality? If so, then I have really high hopes for this team's future. But as of now, I need to see it first, Laraib. I'm going to go with the Broncos in this one. I do have the Giants covering, though. I'm going to go Broncos 14 to Giants 13 in this one. Um, Finally, Laraib, or not finally, we got a few more. We have the Washington Commanders traveling to Dallas to face the Cowboys. Washington, a meager 1.5 point favorite at on the road. Um, this is going to be a shootout. We know that because the Cowboys are involved and the Commanders have a good offense. So whoever scores, whoever has the ball last, Laraib, and I guess the road team usually gets the balls first. So yeah, I'll go with the Cowboys in this one, Laura.
Ooh, ooh, bad pick by you. This
Okay.
Cowboys defense is atrocious,
Yep.
and that's me being generous.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we saw this Commanders team battle with Frankie Louvu. They
Battle.
got some pressure on Caleb Williams, and
Some.
now you're going to Dallas to play the sorry Cowboys team, who CeeDee Lamb might come back for this game,
Hello.
but they were not able to run the ball at all against Carolina last week. The Commanders can have some of that same success and really force Dak to
Pretty good
make
defense.
throws. I think Jaden Daniels another week to get healthy after coming back from that knee injury. Terry McLaurin should also be back for this game. I just trust Jaden Daniels a little bit more. I trust this Commanders defense a little bit more, and that's why I think they'll win by just a little bit more. Give me the Commanders 33 to 31.
Yeah, I like the Cowboys. 36 to 33. All right, next game up, Larab. We have the Green Bay mother loving Packers traveling to Arizona to face the Cardinals. Green Bay favored by 6.5. Um, Green Bay, have we played a complete game since week 2 Thursday night football? No. But this week, look, the Cardinals, Jacoby Brissett in. Now, unless you don't know something I don't, is Jacoby Brissett still going to be playing? Or is, I no, Kyler is coming back. I did see he's projected fantasy points. That's basically gospel. So, Kyler should be coming back. If not, you're getting Jacoby Brissett. Doesn't really matter to me in this one. If this Green Bay defense is the team that we thought they could be, the unit we thought they could be in the first few weeks, Marvin Harrison banged up coming into this game. You need to dominate this team. You can't let Bam Knight run all over you. You need to just stifle this run game first and then lock down the pass, get a good pass rush on whoever's playing quarterback, force them mistakes, and then use your offense to just pulverize this team. That's what we think you're capable of. Now prove it to us. I have the Packers winning this one 31 to 17.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a classic trap game for the Packers. They're gonna come in here, they're gonna lay a stinker, but they will find a way to win. Huge Bam Night game, if you ask me. I think the Packers win 26 to 23.
Oh wow, so Bam Knight getting at least 2 touchdowns is what you're telling me.
Yes, yes.
And then finally for the second Monday Night Football doubleheader, if you're awake at 9 o'clock Eastern time, or wait, excuse me,
10 o'clock Eastern.
10 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you. Yeah, there's another football game coming on after that. So if you're a big Texans or Seahawks fan, you're living in New York, Atlanta, or Miami, woof. But this game, obviously, the Texans traveling to Seattle to face the Seahawks. Seahawks are 3.5 point favorites at home. Laura, this Texans defense has been elite all season long. Yes, they've gotten most of their great defensive numbers against tomato cans, but even the good offenses haven't been too productive against them so far this season. That being said, I'm gonna lean with Seattle in this one. I haven't seen a competent Texans offensive game all season long. If that starts this week, we've seen other quarterbacks be able to have competent offensive showings against the Seattle defense. So it's possible for CJ Stroud to get some bounce back. But with his current cast of characters coming off a bye, we'll see. As of now, I'm going to lean Seattle in this one, 26-23.
Yeah, I'm expecting this game to be a defensive battle. I mean, premier pass rushers all over the field. You got Danielle Hunter, you got Will Anderson Jr., you got Byron Murphy with 4.5 sacks this year, leading all defensive tackles. You have Derek Hall, you knew Chenna Nwosu. I mean, and then not even to mention the cornerbacks. You got, Stingley versus JSN. You got Nico Collins versus Devin Witherspoon. This is just going to be good or great on great defensive battles. The one thing is for me, for the Seahawks offense, are you going to continue to look as electric when you're facing a defense like this, who are able to get pressure on the quarterback, who has lockdown DBs in the secondary? Are you going to still be able to move the ball? And then for the Texans, I mean, can you give CJ Stroud any time to dissect the Seahawks secondary, which we know can be gotten this year? I mean, I have to pick an upset. That's why I'm rolling with the Texans. This is going to be a low-scoring defensive battle. I trust Kyrie Fairbairn a little bit more than I trust Jason Myers this year. I think he puts up the game-winning field goal as the clock expires. Give me the Texans 17 to
Whoa!
14.
Okay, okay. So the Laraib Bowl ends with the Texans pulling it out. Laraib, before we get out of here, we have our locks, upsets, and best bets of the week. I'll go ahead, start with my lock, Laraib, and that is going to be the Chicago Bears over the New Orleans Saints. It's just Saints getting a little too much value here. Yeah, they're a very competitive 1-5 team, but they're 1-5 for a reason. They can't find ways to win games, and that's in the margins, the red zone, penalties, things of that nature. Um, and I think that this very mistake-prone defense will let up a huge bombs to all roads lead where, Larob?
To Rome.
Jerome. So give me the Bears as my lock.
And for my lock, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Pittsburgh Steelers, like we mentioned on our Tuesday pod. If I could go back and switch it, I would switch it right now to the Tennessee Titans, but it has already been set in stone. And so
Oh
I'm going to
no.
ride with my Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers we trust.
And good segue there into the upsets, Mara. My upset of the week is the Cincinnati Bengals playing the in Aaron Rodgers we trust Steelers because I don't trust Aaron Rodgers. I think he's an absolute fraud. And I think Joe Flacco's gonna go in there and dice up some Steelers, and I can't wait. Aaron Rodgers, he needs a full week at least to play competent football. Thursday night football, you're basically throwing him into Vietnam. Give me the Bengals
All right,
upset.
and for my upset, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. I think coming off a bye, still having to travel to Seattle, but I think
Oh.
they're going to be able to get pressure on Sam Darnold for some errant throws and find a way to eke out a win in Seattle.
All right, Laurab, and then best bets of the week. Laurab, my best bet. I just think that, the Raiders getting 12 and a half points in Kansas City, it's just way too much points. I really feel that it's going to be a closer game. I think this Raiders offense is going to have some momentum coming from last week against the Titans. I think the Chiefs won't be as buttoned up as they should be. That's kind of been the case for them all season long. Coming off an emotional high, beating that Lions team, now facing the crummy Raiders. I think this is a natural letdown spot. 12 and a half points is way too much. Give me the Raiders plus 12 and a half.
And for my best bet, I'm going to go with Bam Knight anytime touchdown. No, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Lions minus 5.5. Of course, the front running Lions facing this beaten down and downtrodden Buccaneers team. I think they find a way to cover that spread and win by over 5.5 points.
All right, Larav, let's do it for our full Week 7 NFL picks and predictions. Thank you guys if you made it this far in the video. Again, last week our video popped off, so we're fully expecting us to double those numbers. If not, then you guys are all fake and we hate you all. Larav, you got anything else for our beautiful and loving fans before we get out of here?
Yeah, of course, it's my beautiful co-host's birthday this Sunday. And so, of course,
Ah.
if I lose in the picks, we can just say that was your birthday present. And you would be up 4 weeks in a row on the pad on the picks. But
I
of
didn't realize it
course,
was my birthday every week.
no more birthday freebies
But thank you, Larav.
after this week.
Hit up Crumble Cookies, Nothing Bundt Cakes. You got to hit up Starbucks, got to hit up McDonald's.
Hey, don't
What do
forget
they know?
Sephora.
Okay. All right. Anything
All
else
right,
you got
man.
for
That's
us?
gonna be a First and Goal podcast signing off.
Peace.